Hello and welcome to a two-tone airsoft video. Today we're looking at the internals of a Sportline gun. This is a full metal, they say in the description, M4 by Golden Eagle, and this is the gun that my stepbrother actually had for about 4 or 5 years. So this gun has never been touched internally since we bought it, and literally he just bought a new gun, so we thought we'd have a look at the internals, see what's happened over time, see how good these guns actually hold up in the long run. Alright, so we bought this gun for about £120 when it first came out from Action Hobbies. It was a very long time ago. It's a good gun. It held up very well, shot very well. Alright, so let's get on to the video. So first thing I noticed when I took this gun apart is these bushings in here. I don't know if you can see that. But they're really loose in there. They just don't fit well. They really don't fit well at all. They're quite loose. So that's one bad thing I found. Another thing is a lot of the springs in this have really worn down. I mean, the main spring is just, oh god, what's that? That's got to be shooting like what, 100 FPS. That's just awful. Look, I can just bend it right into my thumb. So that's one bad thing. Another really bad thing is this definitely should not be attached. That came out of the piston anyway. Somewhere in there should have been screwed in, but the thread's literally worn off that piece. So that's fantastic. Battery wire and trigger connections actually. For a really rather cheap gun, these trigger connections are actually quite good. As you can see, the brass is still on there. Oh god. Or whatever material they use, I think it's brass. Oh, copper, sorry, on there. That's actually held up pretty well. There's basically no wear on there. I'm pretty happy about that. Alright, so let's have a look on the other piece. Alright, in there, it's basically a spring-loaded system. So, oh god, little screw. In there, there's a little 2 copper like wires, as you can see, coming through. And basically they connect, and there's virtually no wear on there at all. It's held up really well. I'm quite happy about that, really. That's brilliant, that is. So well done, Golden Eagle, for that. Alright, so let's look at this, because this is truly awful. Okay, so piston in here. There is nothing in there, and there's no air coming out the end there. That is literally, the O-ring in that is ruined. It's not going to work again. On the end here, if you can see, there's cuts and dents and where the air nozzle's been hitting against it. That's really quite awful. It's a horrible sight. Another thing, whilst we're on the topic of the piston, there is an absolutely huge crack. Literally cut off the only metal tooth on the entire piston. Can you see that just along there? That is awful. This whole piece here is just loose. It's just moving. Another thing is a lot of these plastic teeth have broken off. Didn't affect the gun shooting, but if there's some gone, the others are going to go eventually because there's quite a lot of stress on them. The runners on here, as you can see, they are very, very like worn. It's the only way of putting it, really. Spring guide is another thing. It's actually bent. It's actually bent slightly. I'm not sure if you can see, but at the end it just tips up quite a lot. Yeah, there. Yeah, so that's not great, but it is a solid metal spring guide, so I guess it's pretty awful metal, man. Well, feeding nozzle. On these budget guns, it's really strange. It's not like attached to a hop unit. The hop unit's completely separate from the feeding nozzle. Don't know why, but here there's no wear on the end here, so it means the magazine well was quite tight and snug. It wasn't too loose, so you weren't chipping off any of that when you're putting in your mags. So sorry, my hands are really dirty because it's the oil from taking this apart. So yeah, it does have a lot of grease on it actually for quite an old gun. Gears, basically no wear at all. It's really quite nice to see. And there, basically no wear, nice and smooth around the sides. Nice sharp teeth inside. It's nice. Same on the centre one. It's got bushing on there. Basically no wear, it's really nice. Good steel gear set they've put in these guns, really good. As you can see there, dropped a bit. Yeah, so they're really nice, they're really weighty, good quality metal. Alright, another really good thing I found is this gearbox shell is nice. It's definitely a steel or a very, very strong alloy. It's quite nice, I'm not sure what material it is, but it is very nice in there. Got a lot of grease in there on the sides from the gears here, a few other things. It's not that awful grease either, it's kind of worn in quite a bit. Alright, trigger I found. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but there is some wear on the top that connected it to the trigger guard. You can see it's slightly shinier there at the top, just here. Yeah, that's where it's been wearing away. It's actually quite a bit missing there. It's down about 1 millimeter from what it should be, so that's not brilliant. Yeah, so these guns do hold up really well. If you're looking at getting a Sportline gun, they should last you a very long time. And being this one, Golden Eagle, we've had JGs open before, and it's the same story in there. This little plate, you don't really see it on a lot of guns, but this plate actually holds the battery wire onto the gearbox shell. It's a bit weird actually. It goes on about sort of here, but on the other side of the gearbox shell, and it basically just holds the battery wire against the gearbox. It's quite a nice little addition actually. Alright, so if we look in here, you can see there is a lot of wear on this plastic body. On this, it's ABS, it's really light. I mean, I haven't even taken off most of the metal parts, so you've still got the fire selector, trigger guard. But you can see a little bit of plastic literally just dropped off there, so that's pretty bad really. So on here, it's really worn. All the runners and all the little connectors in here are worn down. There's a lot of, I don't know, plastic flakes everywhere. It's not great at all really. Yeah, so that's not a brilliant sign. Yeah, so just thought I'd make you aware of that. Okay, so the air nozzle, here it is. It's actually held up amazingly well for a budget line air nozzle. I mean, I would not expect this from, this is like KWA sort of standard after 4 or 5 years. I mean, I'm quite surprised really. Plastic air nozzle, like normal, just quite lightweight piece. You can see, you just drop it. Doesn't really, it's just sound like a bit of a pen. Yeah, so at the end there's slight indentations, a little bit of rough edges there, not much. Still quite a nice circle down the middle, so your air can come through a nice clean sharp point. It's quite nice. It's not too bad. It's a bit worn, as I said. Apart from that, it's alright. There should be an O-ring, I believe, around this piece just at the back here, but there obviously isn't at the moment, so that must have broken off and fallen out, I guess, at some point. Obviously didn't affect the use of the gun. So you got quite a nice shiny metal. It's quite heavy. It's not brilliant, and again you got your brass like air nozzle holder. Not really 100% what it's called, sorry. Just fits on there quite snug. Yeah, it's quite tight on there, but it's not too tight, so that can move. It does have movement there, and it is well lubed up, to be honest. Definitely for 5 years old. I mean, this gun hasn't been oiled. I mean, this is his first gun. He had no idea what he was doing. So it's really nice. It's amazing how these Sportline guns hold up, to be honest, internally. So after spending about £700 on airsoft guns so far, I have noticed that the budget line guns do hold up surprisingly well compared to the high-end pro line guns actually. So if you're looking at getting into airsoft, definitely look into the Sportline guns. They're not the best on the outside, as you can see. It's pretty awful plastic. That's what basically most of the gun was made out of. But the internals can be made beautifully. I mean, this one is a prime example of that. I mean, you can just see hardly any wear. I mean, a couple of bushings have worn down slightly. I don't know how that even happened, but there we go. Springs have loosened up a bit, but apart from that, it's just it's just fantastic, really. Just for common maintenance needs to be done to a gun like this to keep it going well, and even that is going well. I mean, you do get these cheap plastic parts like this, held a cylinder head in like so, but don't really need one of them. But metal's always going to be better, really, for parts. Sorry, and you only got one metal notch tooth there. So it's definitely worth upgrading the piston, getting a metal teeth one, steel. That'll definitely last. I mean, it's definitely like shit metal there. I mean, that should never happen. So yeah, so these guns do hold up very well. I definitely recommend you get a Sportline gun. This Golden Eagle one held up amazingly. It was an M4 version 2 gearbox. Some things are different to TM, so they're not all TM compatible. However, most of the parts are very, very well made and do last amazingly well on the airsoft field, as you can see. So this was Two Tones Airsoft video of the internals of an Sportline airsoft gun after 5 years. Thank you very much.